Okay, so for question one, I have to provide a summary of each of the six individuals' journeys of substance abuse. So first off, there was Sean. He was 43 years old, and his mother gave birth to him at only 13 years old. He had a troublesome stepfather, I'm pretty sure, because he ran away from home at 12 due to how bad his family was, and he called his stepdad the devil. This family trouble, led to him smoking weed at a very young age to cope with his family issues. And at around 13, he started shooting heroin. And he went to a different state and started doing more legitimate work. But when he sprained his back after moving, he got put on Oxycontin, which was how he got addicted again, how he started relapsing. And there's a guy, Ken. He was 63 years old. He grew up in a poor part of Chicago. He grew up with an abusive dad who would abuse alcohol. And eventually he was prescribed pain pills, which started his drug addiction. And he started, overdosing on pain pills. And he stopped listening to his prescriptions, what he was supposed to use so he'd get high. And one time he overdosed and passed out during school where he works as a custodian. And eventually he got off pain pills, but then he went down the road of heavy drinking, which ties back to his abusive dad and his family who abused alcohol. And he passed out and was taken to the hospital. And for him, that was really his wake-up call. Then there was Tristan, who's a 30-year-old woman. In her childhood, her family was constantly moving, and she didn't really have, a sense of community at a young age. And when she grew up, she married a guy and then divorced the guy after having a kid with her. And her new boyfriend got her into opiates, and that started her addiction. Eventually, she joined a substance abuse group and started attending some of their meetings, but she eventually stopped attending those meetings because she didn't think it was worth it. And that's when she started relapsing on opiates again. And then she started trying meth. Eventually, her meth addiction led her to start stealing money to buy meth, and she got arrested for that. And I believe she got arrested again for something else. And then after an apartment raid, she was arrested again and sent to jail. And she said that was the rock bottom of her life. And after her jail sentence, she started getting more serious about rehab. Then there was Ethan. He grew up in a little bit of a dysfunctional family. A lot of his siblings and even his mother relied on him for a lot of emotional support. And at 12 years old, due to all the stress of his life, he started using drugs. Like, when he got into his teenage years, he started using marijuana, and he started selling marijuana. And because he started being a drug dealer, he met up with people who sold and used hard drugs. So he started using hard drugs since he was selling them. And eventually he got sent to a halfway house. But eventually he was revoked from the halfway house because he overdosed and he wasn't able to keep a job. Eventually decided he wanted to go to prison because the rehabilitative sentences he was getting weren't going to come soon enough. So he decided to go to prison. And when he got out of prison, that was his moment in his life where he realized he really gets his act together. Then there was Levi, and he actually had a good childhood and a nice family growing up. He was eventually prescribed Oxycodone, and this started his addictions. And even at school, he would start selling his prescriptions to other people and his friends, and he would take more than he was supposed to be for himself. And after a breakup in his college, he started battling with depression and anxiety, so he started using those drugs more to cope. And at 2017, he started going to several treatment centers, and he got stuck in something called the Florida Shuffle, where he was being tossed around different treatment centers that profited off his abuse. So even though he had a good background, he still fell into the tricky area where a lot of people fall. Then there was Jana. She had a good family growing up, but she had a past where she lost her brother and sister both to drugs and alcohol. And her substance abuse started out with marijuana and alcohol use early on as well. And this led eventually to the slippery slope of her using cocaine and harder drugs. Eventually, she was arrested and she served time in jail. That was her wake-up call for herself that she really needed to start getting her life together. And she was eventually admitted into a drug court, and it got better from there. The main lesson I learned from this documentary was just how these people's lives were affected by eventually going to rehabilitative centers and drug courts, and how much having people there that can help you out can really help you recover from addiction. Because addiction is more than just being, it's very emotional, and it's hard to be addicted to a drug. And especially when you don't have people to support you, it can be really hard to get out of that habit. Really, what you need is that good sense of community, being in a good environment that helps to get out of drug addiction. So the lesson here is that a big step into helping people who are addicted to drugs is to get more people into drug courts, get more people, good probation officers, get more people into these support groups that can help them, to put them around people that are like them, who've experienced drug problems before, so that they can feel better about being on that path to, freedom from drugs, being on that road to recovery.